everyone! Today's video is going to be the do's and don'ts of being around a disabled person. Bottom line, do's, act like a normal human being. Stop being so weird around disabled people. And I understand because when I was less sick and I was not in my wheelchair, whenever I was around someone disabled, I was so worried about offending them in some way that I was just straight up weird and super uncomfortable. But I just want to let you know that's very unnecessary. Like, you're making the situation so much worse when it doesn't need to be. Just act like a normal person. We're normal people. We just have some extra challenges, so you can just be yourself around us. And that's basically all I have for do's. Okay, as you can imagine, I have a lot of don'ts. So, don't number 1. Do not touch our mobility aids. Okay, that shouldn't have to be said, but we do not want you to push us in our wheelchairs, unless we ask you to. Of course, everything basically is unless we ask you to, don't do this. But it's super weird. 2, it's a safety issue. If someone was walking with crutches or some other mobility aid, you wouldn't just come over and be like, oh, let me help you, and just take their crutch or grab their crutch or push their backs while they're trying to walk. It's not safe and it's not normal. You don't need to do it unless we ask you to. I'm awaiting diagnosis still, but I more than likely have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. And so with that, any sudden, unexpected movement can cause me to dislocate something. So it's definitely a safety hazard, and it'll, for no reason, put me in a world of hurt when I don't need to be. Don't number 2. Don't do everything for us. Again, unless we ask for help. I'm pretty sure I'm not just talking for myself here when I say that we want to be independent people. Even though sometimes we have more challenges being independent, we still want that independence. We want to be able to do things for ourselves. Anything that we can do easily and safely by ourselves, we will do. Otherwise, I just feel absolutely helpless, and I hate that. Except for holding doors for us, because I feel like holding doors for people is just a common courtesy. Like, you don't need to ask to hold the door for someone, but I don't know, whatever. But just ask before you help someone. You know, if I'm reaching for something or getting myself coffee, I don't want you to like just take it and be like, oh, here, let me get that for you. It's like, no, I can pour my own coffee. Like, thank you. And it's nice. I know you're trying to be nice, but we want to be independent. So, number 3, don't talk to us like we're unintelligent. Not everyone in a wheelchair is mentally handicapped, and also, being mentally handicapped doesn't mean you're unintelligent either. Disability does not equal unintelligence. A little louder for someone in the back.
Disability does not equal unintelligence.
I shouldn't even have to say that. But don't assume. Don't assume anything. You don't need to assume what our disability is. I look like a normal person, and I still walk sometimes, so I seem completely normal. But as soon as I'm in my wheelchair, people get weird around me, and I don't get it. Don't number 4, which kind of stems off of the last one. Don't assume that every person in a wheelchair is non-ambulatory, which means that they can't walk. So yes, I use a wheelchair. And yes, I can walk. It's not a miracle. It's called being an ambulatory wheelchair user. And yes, we exist. It's pretty common, actually, for people who are in wheelchairs to still have some level of mobility. And you don't know why a person is in a wheelchair, and you don't need to know why, because it doesn't affect you, and it doesn't matter. So don't be all, ooh, you can walk when I get out of my wheelchair, because yeah, and you're being annoying. Don't number 5. Don't bend down to talk to someone in a wheelchair. You have a neck. You can use them. It's called tilting your head to look down. If you are unable to tilt your head, then pull up a chair. so you're even level with us, but you don't need to be squatting down, talking to us like we're a toddler because it's demeaning and it's straight up rude. Like I said, this is the first thing. Talk to us like we're normal people. We can hear you. If we can't, we'll let you know and be like, hey, can you come in closer? You know, people will tell you when they need something. Don't number 6. This is 6 in sign language. I can't, my finger doesn't work very well, but don't number 6. Don't number 6. Don't ask why we're in a wheelchair. For me, I don't really mind so much when people ask because I like educating people on my disability and I see it as a learning opportunity. But as a general rule, unless you know the person, don't ask why they're in a wheelchair. We get really sick of having to explain it to strangers when it doesn't matter to them. I mean, why does it affect you why I'm in a wheelchair? Why do you need to know other than general curiosity? It's just not necessary. Yeah, if it's someone you know and you're concerned or you want to learn more about maybe their disorder, then yeah, you can be like, hey, like, just wondering why you're in a wheelchair. But otherwise, if it's a stranger, don't ask them. You don't need to know. Don't number 7. American Sign Language. Don't ask for rides in our wheelchair. It's super uncomfortable to say no to, and it's not funny. We need our wheelchairs to go about our daily lives. We don't use them for fun. And when you're asking someone if you can have a ride in their wheelchair so you can have fun when we need to use them every day to go about our normal lives, it's just kind of demeaning, as if you're making it seem like a joke that we're in a wheelchair. I don't know. I have had a lot of weird interactions so far. So I've only been in my wheelchair for a couple months now, not super long, but I've already had some really, really weird interactions, such as multiple people asking me if I can do a wheelie, someone calling me a transformer, and someone else asked me if I was in my wheelchair for a project. No. I understand you're curious, but you don't need to know why someone's in a wheelchair. Just don't talk about it. I don't know. I guess I have to expect some weird looks and stares and weird questions now that I am an ambulatory wheelchair user, but oh man, some of them are just straight up funny. Any other disabled people, comment below what are your weirdest interactions you've ever had of people asking you weird questions or just weird things that have happened to you. Like this video and subscribe to my channel for more videos, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!